Tell you what, man, when it gets dark like this, if you're not low, you ain't finding mushrooms. No doubt. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for stopping back at the channel here at Hoosier State Fishing. Got a little bit of a different video for you today. All of the creeks and rivers here where I'm located, and probably pretty much the most of, the majority of Indiana, are blown out due to a lot of rain that we've had here in the last couple days. So I'm gonna go do some mushroom hunting for some morel mushrooms. They've been up for a pretty good while now, and I haven't taken just a solid day just to go out and just track some down. I've looked here and there. I found one so far this year, but that spot that I was in a really highly sought after area, and you could tell it was pretty trampled, so I left it. But I'm gonna go to one of my secret spots and see if we can find any. Hopefully nobody has found my spot and ravaged it. Just stopped in Walmart here to pick up a few things. Honestly, just a couple things just to, for the day. A bottle of water, that's always necessary. Honestly, some of the stuff makes it look like I could be a murderer, to be honest with you. Cheap little pocket knife, some insect repellent, duct tape, leather gloves, a rope, they're all essential for hunting mushrooms. Anyway, no, I'm just kidding. I didn't get all that stuff, but I did get a little mesh bag. Mesh is important to allow those spores to spread. You always want your, mushrooms to come back the next year and years after that. Some, I don't know, sunflower seeds, whatever. Stuff that you guys don't care about, but I'm gonna get on here and get a little drive in. It's about 45 minutes away, and we'll see you when we get there. Okay, we're here, we made it. Let's get down here. I'm gonna put some bug spray on, get my boots laced up. We're gonna get on some mushrooms. If you've never been mushroom hunting, you're gonna be wanting to look for specific trees. If you're new, this isn't gonna be some big lesson on how to find them, but if you're new to mushroom hunting, I would study the elm tree online and get familiar with it, especially older standing elms and dying elms and dead elms. Those are usually a lot of times are really good producers of morel mushrooms. Also, sycamore trees I have pretty good luck around, and those are really easy to identify. They have they have bark towards the bottom, and then it chips off towards the top and it gets to be a white tree. Just, study your trees, those trees. There's a lot of resources nowadays, online to help you. I gotta get my bug spray. I'm looking at a giant poplar, or sycamore right now. I'm gonna put some bug spray on. But I don't know if you can see that tree right there, and you can see, I don't know if you can see or not, but it gets white. The top is white, but that's a big sycamore tree. So for the time being, I'm just gonna carry the camera around on the tripod. Let's get down here real quick. There's another sycamore, a big sycamore. There's a dead elm right there. That's a good spot. That's a real good spot. It wouldn't surprise me if we find a snake or, a turtle or something out and about, man. This is their time. Turtles are gonna be out, and everything's out looking for mates right now, man. Nice and warm. Oh yeah, dude. So this is an elm right here. And you can see, I don't know if you can see that, but when you push in on that bark, it pushes in. It's like a cork feeling. Let's just keep looking now. Also, there could have been people already been through here and ravaged this place. I don't know. But I did see some footprints coming down, the trail that comes down here, so. Okay guys, check it out. This is an elm tree, and then not maybe 3 feet away, we've got a cluster of 2 little guys right here. And I don't know if you can see them. I'm sure you probably can. But that's what we're looking for, everybody. Those little morel mushrooms. I'm gonna leave those. I'm gonna cover them up, and I'm gonna scan this area, because normally where there's 1 or 2, there's more. And we're also, this big tree right here in front is a sycamore tree. And this is kind of a low area. You've got a ridge over here. You got a lot of good sunlight coming down. And we're also right next to a creek. It's always good to kind of keep a mental note of where you found them. That way you can remember where you might be able to find them next year. So this is right here is called a black cup. And those usually come up, and I'm not an expert here, of course. I'm just going off of, I grew up mushroom hunting, so this is all kind of knowledge that I was passed on to me by my dad. But black cups are always a good sign that, you know, mushrooms are up or coming up soon or in the area. They usually come up before morels. You know, I've been seeing black cups here probably the last month and a half or so, but it's always a good sign, you know, a good just kind of a good sign that they're probably in the area. There's a pitcher plant right there. It's a carnivorous plant. They eat bugs. We're only a couple weeks away from some really giant morels, you know, giant yellows. You've got blacks and yellows, and you've also got half freeze. And if you are new to mushroom hunting, I would leave those alone and really kind of do some studying on those, because there's also a thing called a false morel, which looks like a half free. But the false morel, the cap is completely free from the stem, which is no bueno. You know, even when you cut them open or cut them in half, it can be really hard to determine if you've got a half free or a false morel. Half freeze, the cap is half free from the stem. So I don't know, those are just two mushrooms that I would do some studying on before you go and cut them and eat them. You don't want to get into a situation where you get really sick. And then you've also got false, or oh, I can't remember the name. Well, I can't remember the name of the one that I'm talking about, but it looks, and they're very often get confused with an actual morel, which I've never understood how that's possible, because they look nothing like a morel. But just do some studying. You know, you've got the internet as your resource. If this is something you're interested in, do your research, because you don't want to get sick. And I've actually know of some people that eat those. They have a toxin, and the toxin that they have is actually also an ingredient in rocket fuel. And the problem with that is no, you might not get sick, you know, after the first or second bite, or even the first or second, third, fourth, fifth, 10 years down the road, but that toxin builds up in your system, and I mean, you could just bite the dust. Not a good thing. So leave those alone and just do your research. And then, you know, they always say, when in doubt, throw it out. This area is just so good, man. I'm honest. Oh my gosh, tree falling, dude. Tree falling. Not sure if you heard that or not, but that's another thing I was going to bring up. It's a very windy day today, so you've also always got to be mindful of what's above you. Falling trees, you know, they call those widow makers for good reason. You know, branches, stuff like that. UFOs. It's crazy out here in these woods, man. Okay guys, so just right after that tree fell, I was in here kind of scanning around, and this is why it's always good to really pay attention and get low, because look at how this was growing. That's a good size right there. I'm gonna cut that one. I'm gonna cut that guy. So anyway, that's what you're looking for. Figured to give you guys just another little update. I haven't found any more than just those other three that we talked about earlier, but the lake's a little high. It's normally never underwater, but all back in there, that's all this is underwater. I think this area has been heavily hit as far as mushroom hunting. So we're just gonna continue to push on. So here we go. Came over here by this tree. That's a sycamore right there, that big one. And I look down, boom, bam. Look at that big boy, right there. Not bad. They have a good smell, I think. They smell really good, and oftentimes you come up on a big batch of them, the wind's blowing just right, you can smell them. But I almost walked right on top of this little guy. I'm really not understanding this. Oftentimes you find one, you find, you know, several. I'm not too sure why I'm not finding them in bigger clusters. I'm just kind of finding onesies and twosies. So right now this makes 3 that I've harvested so far. I'm gonna stick this one in my sack, and then we'll She said what now? Oh shoot, so they're probably like stronger than normal. Well, I'm just sitting here talking to the wife. She gave me a call, and she must be good luck, because there's one. Just saw a giant back here, back in there. Where's the other ones? You take your eye off these things for just a minute, and they disappear. Look at that, I've already lost one. There's one up here. Bow. I was just sitting here talking to my wife, and as she was talking, I'm like scanning the area, and I'm like, oh, just found another one. Oh, just found another one. Hey, there's one. Hey, there's one. I'm telling you, she's good luck, man. I told you that I do pretty well around sycamores, and this whole little area right here is just laden with sycamore trees. Let me show you what I'm talking about. All sycamores. Sycamores there, two little guys. Sycamore right here, big sycamore there. This whole valley right here, full of sycamores. And now I'm just gonna scan this area really well, because this seems like a really, really hot spot right now. I just want to make sure that it didn't pass anything up, because I'm not leaving anything in this spot. Oh, there's one. Man, tiny. So I'm still just making my way through the woods. Basically on my way back. I need to get going home. But walking through the woods kind of reminds me of back in the day. You know, as a kid, a lot of times I'd have my buddies over, and you know, with that tree falling earlier, it made me think of something, you know, that we used to do as kids. You know, a lot of times those dead trees are the ones that'll fall over more so than regular trees, you know, big dead trees. So we would push dead trees over, and that was always such a blast for us. And it's funny, I just started, you know, thinking about that walking through the woods, but I'll go ahead and give you a taste of that right now. I remember this one time I pushed over this dead tree, and a family of flying squirrels came out of it, and one of them landed on the ground, and it ran up my leg and perched up on my shoulder, and we looked at each other like this. I was like, man, like it was just a split second, but we made like eye contact, and then he glided away. That's a true story. You can even ask my friend Jordy Smith. Ask him. You guys ever done that before? Let me know in the comments. All right, guys. I'm gonna hit this one last spot, and then I'm gonna call it quits, because I need to get going. But, oh no, I've got my mushrooms in my bag. I gotta check those now, make sure I didn't smoosh them. There's a sycamore right there. There's another sycamore. And then you've got these little bitty elms scattered around too. Oh, there we go, right there. Let's get it. And then we're gonna sit here for a minute. That's exactly where I was getting ready to sit down too. It's getting really hard to see. There's another big one over there. There's a giant. There's another one, I almost stepped on it. Right there. There's another one. Secrecy is paramount. Okay, I need to stash these away. I'm gonna take a seat right here on this log and scan the area. Not sure if you noticed that, but this is classic, man. It's getting low light. I basically just did a big circle, and sure enough, found one that I missed. You just really gotta scan the area. And once you become familiar with that honeycomb look, you're bound to find more. Like this one right here. That was a pretty nice one. Pretty good size. I'll tell you what, man. When it gets dark like this, if you're not low, you ain't finding mushrooms. No doubt. So, yeah, I'm just trying to backtrack and cover these areas that I was already in, the same big area, and that's why I want to stress to you why it's so important to retrace your steps, because they're just a lot of times that hard to find, man. You'll just pass them right up. It's just getting harder and harder to see. So I'm really just trying to keep a sharp eye out. this one. Right there. Right there. You see it? Look how it's growing out of the ground sideways. It's coming down this hill and there's leaves that probably... Oh, I see another one. Oh, there's two. They're growing right out of the side of this stuff here. Oh, they smell so good. You know what I noticed? You know, in this specific spot with this tree right here, or this limb, this is a beech limb, has obviously recently fallen. And I've read that in like journals and stuff on several mushroom websites that recently disturbed earth can cause them to grow like that. I don't know. It's just kind of weird. I feel like I'm being watched. So let's stuff these in our sack here and get a move on. Well, I'm gonna call it quits right there. Got on a pretty good amount. I've probably found, I don't know, close to 2 pounds. I don't have a scale, but if you just stick with me, maybe when we get home, we'll take a count and see how many we got. So we'll see you when we get home. Well, there you have it, folks. Not a bad couple hours in the woods. I think we spent maybe 3 hours out there, 3 or 4 hours. I found geez, I can't even talk. I found 23 in total, so that's not too bad. Some of the areas I wasn't too familiar with. I did find a couple new spots, so that's always good. And it's just the way it goes sometimes. Sometimes you get on a big patch of them and you just clean house, and other times you find onesies and twosies, and that's just the way it goes sometimes. I was thinking about doing like a hunt, clean, and cook video, but I don't think I'm going to do that. I like to let these bad boys soak in salt water for at least overnight before I cook them. So I'm going to cut these things in half and let them soak in some salt water, and that's going to be it. I feel like I got ticks crawling all over me, so I'm going to go and get those picked off if I've got any. Hopefully I don't, but I did wear bug spray. But anyway, ticks are a part of it. It's a part of going out in the woods. Ticks and spiders and mosquitoes. That's what I was trying to see. I'm like really tired, so I'm going to get off here. I appreciate you stopping by. Hopefully you liked the video. If you did like the video, please hit the like button. Hopefully you learned something at least. If you haven't been mushroom hunting before, get out there. It's definitely time. But I think that's about it. Anyway, appreciate you stopping by. Thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments if you like this video, if you want to see more videos like this, and I'm going to try to get you guys out a fishing video here soon. So stay tuned. Anyway, appreciate you. We'll see you on the next one.